Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. My name is Martin and I'm an Inkscape developer, and as you can tell from the shirt and tie, it's time to talk, unfortunately, about finances. So the first video of the year I dedicate towards talking about the money of this experiment. So my work on Inkscape is actually funded directly from users. This is a fairly experimental approach to allowing users to directly not just fund, but also instruct on what needs to happen in the free and open source project. This is largely due to the fact that it's very obvious that in a lot of free software projects, the only people that get to modify software are individual programmers that have skills themselves and large corporations that can hire programmers to do the work for them. But that's not really good enough for a lot of free software projects. We need you to have some control over what happens in the project. So that's where this experiment comes in. It also creates some sustainability, because if I have some money from you, I'll be able to actually live, which is good. I like living. So let's talk about what happened in 2024. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the numbers for previous years so you don't have to go back and watch the previous videos. And so hopefully we can get a sense of where we're moving as we go through time. Okay, so this year, well, let's say that this year because it's 2025. In 2024, I earned $30,000 or thereabouts. That's down from the previous year, which was about just under 60,000. The reason for this is because contracting can be very volatile, and the amount of support was actually pretty static, so it didn't grow a lot on Patreon. There was some growth on LibrePay though, which was great to see. And I also had a few sponsors back me directly by sending me money, not through a platform. So about 75% of my money came, no, it's not 75, what is that? 60%? About 60% of the money came from sponsors, which is great. You're basically holding this whole thing together. About 25% of it came from Inkscape contracts. This is basically where corporations came to me and asked me for specific projects. And I work hours with my normal contracting rates. And only about 5% was private contracts. This is work that I do as a programmer that has nothing to do with Inkscape. What you'll notice is that the previous year it was about a third. So the amount of money that I got from private contracts is massively down. And the reason for that is because in 2024 I had some health issues that I had to deal with, which meant that I had to take time off. And I didn't want to sacrifice any of the hours that I spent working on the sponsored programming, simply because this experiment is too important to me. So I cut down on the amount of private contracting that I was doing. So that largely accounts for the change in earnings. Because honestly, the support that I'm getting from Inkscape users has remained largely the same. Let's see. So usually what I do is I talk about whether I would recommend doing this kind of work for, if you're a free and open source maintainer yourself. Honestly, now being 4 years in, I would say it depends. One of the major disadvantages that I have is that I am not the owner of Inkscape, so I don't get to advertise my services through the Inkscape program itself, or through the website, or through the download page, or anything like that, which means that I'm disconnected from the vast majority of Inkscape users, so I don't really get to take advantage of the community's stake. But if you're a maintainer and you do have such a position, then you will probably find yourself being able to take advantage of advertising and making sure that your users are aware that the funding model that you've chosen is a direct supporter model. What I would say is that because Inkscape is a multi-party project, that actually gives our project a lot of strength, because there are lots of different voices within the project. So rather than a charity organization or a corporation, I would say a worker-owned cooperative is probably the best model to use. You can probably end up with a fairly robust structure from being able to include different people who may be in different countries offering their services in one way or another, and your project should be able to grow from there. So that's about it as far as funding goes. I do want to give a heartfelt thank you to all of my sponsors. Basically, the amount of work that I do means that I can afford to live and dedicate a lot of my time to doing free and open source work, and I just wouldn't be able to do that without your support in 2024. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.